What's up? It's George the... No, I'm not wearing that. I'm like a fucking chimney sweep. What's up? It's George the Fragrance Apprentice. Hope that you're having a good day, and I hope that you're safe. Hope that you're doing alright, of course, with everything that's going on in the world. As you can plainly hear, here in Britain, we don't really care. There's traffic, there's somebody cutting the field, it's just like a completely regular day, and nobody's bothered. But we are taking precautions here. Usually for a seasonal list, I would go out and about, I would get my film crew involved, and we'd do some pretty interesting and pretty extraordinary location work, but we're just not taking that risk today. So today you can enjoy the splendor and loveliness of my back garden, but you're here for the fragrances, not necessarily for the locations, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And I apologise for the huge amount of background noise, the huge amount of traffic. Nobody is staying inside here, but let's just get to it. So, top 10 spring for 2020. Most of us will actually probably be staying inside for spring 2020 unless things drastically change. But these are fragrances that I've already worn in the warmer days. These are fragrances that I was really looking forward to wearing and presumably still wear whether I'm inside or not. I've got one honourable mention, but the main thing is this. This list is a little bit different from my previous lists, as I would usually go very citrusy, I'd usually go very green. This year I've gone a little bit more floral. This, I've actually gone a little bit more feminine in a way. I've gone, citrusy, floral, kind of classic kind of scents, classic styles of fragrance are in this. So it's a very, very sophisticated list, very regal list. Very opulent list, as they say, with some very classy floral fragrances that I hope that you really enjoy. Anyway, we'll get straight into it with an honourable mention, and there's a very good reason why this is an honourable mention. It's because I really don't know the future of this fragrance. I don't know what's going on with this fragrance at the moment. This is DIOR HOMME O. This is not DIOR HOMME or DIOR HOMME Sport. This is DIOR HOMME O. I've really grown a liking to it. I bought this last year, just in a way almost as a completion thing to complete the DIOR HOMME collection, but I'm really, really enjoying it, really, really liking it, and it is that original kind of DIOR HOMME DNA, but with a sexy, luxurious designer sweetness that gives it a bit of a balminess, that gives it a little bit of a depth, and a nice kick of sugar. It's also got a bit of an aquatic nature to it. There are some marine-like qualities, especially on the top, and it's good. I really, really like it. It gets compliments, it gets a lot of good attention and all that kind of thing, so it will help you there. I don't know what the future of this fragrance is. I don't know if it's readily available right now. I don't know if it's discontinued. I've done a Google search and you can still buy this, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything at the moment. But the DIOR HOMME line, very much like the world at the moment, is a very uncertain place, but if you do like DIOR HOMME O and you wanted to buy it, then now would be the best time to buy it. Number 10 is from the house of Givenchy. It is Gentleman Cologne. Now, I didn't realise that I was late to the party with this, admittedly, which I was. I really, really like this fragrance a tremendous amount. I love the opening. The opening is one of the greatest designer citrus openings that I've smelled in many, many years. And I was not aware that this is actually a fragrance that has done the rounds, but some people are now catching up, including myself, including people like Ashton and Cam from Carolina Fragrance Reviews. We're now really starting to get it, and I do get this. But why is it number 10? It's for the reasons that you warned me, and you did warn me. This sucks with projection and longevity. Terrible performance. Awful. But that opening is so good and so solid that I had to include it on this list because it is one of my personal favourite openings that I've smelled in a long while, especially with the designer, in the designer world. Why? Old school Gentleman Vetiver. Hardly done these days, but it's in this and it's done incredibly well, almost to perfection, pitch perfect vetiver opening with a lot of citrus. Fantastic, really enjoyed wearing it, but it does not last. Number 9 is from the house of Versace, EROS. Why? Super strong, super versatile, super masculine. This is springtime in the evening. It's evening wear springtime fragrances. I really enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it, actually. I've always enjoyed Versace Eros, but I go through phases of it where sometimes I'm like, this is a little bit generic, I don't really like it. And then other phases, as I am right now, where I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. It's got a pine needly wood. That's probably not pine needles at all. It's probably something like cedar wood or something else. But to me, it has a Christmas tree-like scent with a tarry, very syrupy tonka bean and vanilla. Really, really good for colder springtime nights where there's a clear sky, when you want to go out partying, clubbing, things like that. It's fantastic for that, so that's why it's on the list. Number 8, I want to clear something up right here. This is Mont Blanc's Explorer. Somebody commented and then they actually removed the comment. I believe it was, caught me slipping. Well, I caught you slipping, mate, with this comment. He said, I don't understand it. Why is it that you went on about how much that you hated that one Aventus clone, and here you are talking about and giving good points and good marks to an Aventus clone. So I want to really make this very clear to everybody. I do not hate Aventus clones. I hate Aventus clones that smell like paint thinner and are garbage and that smell like a synthetic mess, such as, in my opinion, Parfums Vintage, Pineapple Vintage, and especially Pineapple Vintage Noir. It smelt terrible. It smelled plasticky, like there was no effort put into it. It really, really rubbed me the wrong way, as we all know. This, on the other hand, has quality to it. It was well made, and it does something different from many of the other Aventus clones, where it is trying to make Aventus into an affordable, citrusy designer that's even more mass appealing. And I think that that's a good move, and I think that that works, and this actually gives me something that the original Aventus does not. And that is why I like this one. That is why I am making, such a big deal out of it. And it does get a tremendous amount of compliments. I get asked as a fragrance reviewer every single day, what gets me compliments? What's going to get me attention? And my response ultimately is, well, hopefully it's your personality and what you actually do. But when it comes to, but they don't want that answer. They want the fragrant answer. And right now, when it comes to fragrances and when it comes to popular mainstream fragrances, this is my number one compliment getter. Number 7 is this. This is Ombre TOPKAPI by MDCI Parfums. A very, very expensive fragrance. It's a shame that I will not be able to go to Essence this year and meet Claude, the person who is behind these fragrances. A real laugh and fun to talk to. But Invasion Barbare is the fragrance that this company is known for, but this really is a great regal, slightly floral, but also ultimately a very woody fragrance that's very, very classic, very, very classy, very well done, very versatile, incredible, really, really enjoyable, fun, classic, sophisticated amber fragrance. It's an amber fragrance, but without a lot of the modern day amber elements to it. This is not Ombre Nuit by Christian Dior. This isn't that really, really heady, tough, rough amber. This is very aerated, this is very fluffy, and it's very easy to wear. A very, very solid, easy to wear, masculine, signature scent worthy amber fragrance by MDCI. Number 6 is from the house of, and I can't believe that I can say this, this is from the house of ROJA Dove. This is Danger Parfum Cologne version. Now, I did a review of this with my good friend Chris over on his channel Fragmental, and which I raved about it. I was so enthusiastic about it. It's my favourite probably from the Parfum Cologne collection, in which ROJA Dove did actually contact me and they offered me this bottle, of which I am very, very, very grateful. You have no idea how grateful I am, but I think that that's purely because I expressed a real and genuine interest in this. Why do I like this? It's a beautiful, brilliant, classic men's style fougere fragrance. Really, really stylish. That's the big thing that I could say. I do prefer it to Enigma. It's just incredible. It has got that Tom Ford Noir thing that I did mention in that review. I can still see it here. Again, it's not a copy or anything like that. I don't get the fogginess and the atmosphere in this as I do with Tom Ford's Noir, but it's just really got something about it, and it's very, very stylish, and it smells very rich, and I really enjoy wearing it because of that. So a beautiful, beautiful creation, an incredible creation by ROJA Dove. Number 5 is from the house of RENIER perfumes. This is of course Oud Rain. This is a fragrance that I am starting to come to terms with about the fact that I actually do prefer this over Kisses Rain. That's something that something that I didn't think would ever happen, especially with how much I love Kisses Rain. But this has got an incredible, beautiful, genuine mango sweetness opening that dives slowly into a very woody, sensual oud fragrance. Incredible, very versatile all year round. But in the spring and summer and hotter months, this is just an absolute pleasure to wear. And that mango is so fruity and so genuine and so sweet and watery. It is just delicious to wear and can be worn very easily in the colder months of the springtime, because it also has that oudy wood in the background. Going from the inside of the mango to the outside of the mango, we have salted green mango from Strangers Parfums. I can imagine that a lot of you were expecting this, and yes, here it is. I've spoken about this many times, I'm not going to bore you with it again, but just please check this out if you haven't already. There's a reason I keep going on and on about it. It is my favourite from the Strangers Parfums line. It is so unique and a great unique take on citrus fragrances, just by taking all of the best bits and then rounding it off with that outer shell, that balminess that really, really gives it a solid roundedness with this fragrance. And now we come to number 3, which could be a bit of a shock for those of you who have been with this channel for years and years, in fact maybe the whole duration of it. My number 3 for spring 2020. Yes, some of you will be going, oh my god, don't do this to me, but it is. I'm afraid it's time for the number 1 to not be number 1 anymore, even though it has been my number 1 spring fragrance for many, many years. This is DUETO's CITIVER. I still love it. I still think it's amazing, guys. Still think it's absolutely brilliant. But you know what? It's time to move on for me a little bit. You know, I'm not in that part of my life anymore, and I want to seek different fragrances that represent different parts of my life. I still wear this very actively in springtime, but it is not my favorite. It's naive, it's innocent, it has a wonder, it has an awe about the world, and it just reminds me of that barge trip and the adventures that you can go on when you're younger. But I'm not in that place anymore. I'm older, I've got a business now, I've got, you know, films to run, I've got, you know, money to make, I've got a lot more responsibility, and although it is nice to go in and out of this more naive, picturesque fragrance that I hold in my hand, it isn't necessarily where I am anymore. But it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. If you like Grey Vetiver by Tom Ford, it is a younger, sweeter, more bombastic, alive version of that fragrance. Very, very similar, but with a lot more sweetness and just a more richer scent profile. So where am I in my life? Well, I'll tell you, number 2 is from the house of Chanel. This is a fragrance that I have completely fallen in love with, and I do not regret it at all. It's Bleu de Chanel Parfum, my second favourite fragrance for spring 2020. It's bold, it is sweet, but it's a businessman, and it's got a real wealth about it. It's something that I really, really love. I've done a review on this very recently, a couple months ago actually, maybe a little bit longer than that, but there is so much depth, and that incense gives it a beautiful maturity to it. I absolutely love it. So what is my number 1 spring fragrance of 2020? It's a fragrance I actually haven't spoken about too much because it's a woman's fragrance. It's a female-based fragrance, but as you get older you don't care, especially when you're in this hobby. You don't really give a shit. You're just like, yeah, but does it smell good on me or doesn't it, you know? And that shouldn't limit you. Nobody's gonna, you know, if you're wearing a female fragrance that that you really feel works on you and works on your skin, I can assure you, nobody's, you know, you're not holding it in front of you, you're not going on necklace, nobody's going to judge you and go, oh my god, you're wearing a female fragrance. You know, loads of women these days wear men's fragrances. Nobody gives a shit really anymore, and you shouldn't feel uncomfortable with things like that, especially with fragrance where people really just don't know. People just genuinely don't know and genuinely don't care. But this fragrance is my spring number 1. It kind of was last year, if I'm honest, and it's been building and building and building, and it really is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. And you know what, I'm just going to be really level with you, it just smells so damn good on me. I'm just going to be really brutally honest, it smells really, really bloody good on me. It smells sexy, it smells attractive, it smells super confident, and I really, really love putting that vibe out there, and I love feeling confident wearing this fragrance. It's a very unlikely fragrance, but it is what it is. I first smelt this actually on a work colleague in Harvey Nichols. I smelt it on her, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, what is that? She told me, and I have never really stopped wearing it since then, and that was a couple of years ago. It is from the house of HERMES, my #1 springtime fragrance 2020 that makes me feel good, confident, sexy, attractive, the whole 9 yards. Is Eau de Merveille, the original. I freaking love this fragrance. Absolutely, I'm going banana for this fragrance right now. Absolutely love it. It's just very sweet, has kind of like a licorice kind of note, but it's just it's amazing. It's got those florals, got that sweetness. I don't think that there's any citruses or anything like that in here. There's something about this fragrance, but it's just absolutely incredible, absolutely remarkable fragrance. I will have a review on this very soon, but it is just a confidence bomb for me, and I adore wearing it. Anyway, those were my top 10 fragrances, top 10 spring fragrances of 2020. Please stay safe. They're all designer, all niche. They're designer and niche never separated. That is your lot right there from me. Anyway, stay safe, stay indoors if you must, and I hope that you got the information that you wanted. I'm the Fragrance Apprentice. I'll see you soon. Bye.